Engaging the community since 1970. This is WIS Awareness.
High-end men's fashion for more than 4 decades. The first black-owned men's store in Columbia. And expansion plans in the works for another Columbia business. What's led to its success? That's coming up this morning, along with some tips to help you get your small business started. Good morning, and thank you so much for joining us for Awareness. I'm your host, Megan Norman. Fashions Unlimited opened in August of 1971 in downtown Columbia. It was the first African-American owned men's fashion store in that area, the very first since Reconstruction. It was started by David Land and 2 other USC students at the time. In its more than 40-year history, the store has relocated and evolved into Fashions 2. This morning, we're learning more about its history, its reach, and its future forward. Joining us now, the president and vice president of Fashions 2, David Land and Bobby Guider. Thank you both so much for being with us this morning.
Thank you.
How did this concept get started? And it was back when you were a student at USC.
Yes, ma'am. We were students at USC in the early 70s, and there was nothing comparable to the concept of Fashions Unlimited. And we were fortunate to be one of the first to get SBA funding. And that was how we were able to progress and move to Main Street. And we were there for 10 years. And I had 2 partners who were young guys who were also students at USC.
Now, were you studying business at the time?
I was majoring in advertising design. And I had a business partner who was also in accounting and business planning.
And how did you know there was a need in the community for this kind of store?
We knew there was a void. There were really only department stores, and we had a few, but no one who specialized in black fashion or in high fashion. And we realized that we needed some direction, and we needed somebody to take that step.
And do you feel like you've met that void?
I think so. We've been a service business. My mother always said, you know, if you believe, you know, you can achieve it. And we just stuck with it. And we're a service-oriented business, and we've got a broad base. Our customers are adults between 35 and 60, and we usually our customers are people that go to church, business people. So we sell, you know, business suits. We also sell high fashion in suits. We do a special order program that we can order a suit and get it in within 4 days and have it fixed, you know, by the 5th day. So that's been advantageous for us.
And both of you are very dapper this morning.
Thank
Have you
you.
always enjoyed dressing and fashion?
Let me tell you a story. We grew up on Reed and Waverly Street, and there was a community center called Bethlehem Center. Well, it's still there, but they had a thrift shop. And so every Saturday they would open up, and that's how we got the concept for consignment also. They'd open up every Saturday, and my mother and I and David, we'd go there and we'd pick out clothes that people had donated, you know, from prestigious areas, and we'd buy them, and we'd wear them to school, and we were dapper.
I can see and I believe that. Now, having the idea, having the passion for a business is one thing, but how did you turn it into something practical, and what are some of the challenges you've had to overcome over the last 40 years?
Well, basically it was getting a foothold and getting established, but beyond that, we participated, we co-sponsored programs to help others come in. We were just functioning as a satellite, so to speak, in terms of letting people know. Because we went to the first New York apparel show, we were the only blacks in the building. And we felt it, and they surrounded us with some models and made our picture and put us on the cover. But we were there specifically saying we needed a voice and we needed our concept to be known.
Did you have any struggles being a black-owned business in Columbia when you first started, or even now?
Looking back, and from some information I received after we opened, we were the Nixon experiment. When Nixon was trying to get the second election, he needed a person to step forward. And a gentleman, Mr. Thomas Moss, gave us the SBA funding. SBA was opened in 1953. We opened Fashions Unlimited downtown in 1971. So you're talking about a 20-year gap. But that put us out front because we had the working capital.
Right.
And we had the advertising background and the USC backing.
So you started on Hampton Street in downtown Columbia. A few years later, moved to Main Street, and now you're over by the Columbia Mall.
Capital Central Plaza.
Right.
On Columbia Mall Boulevard.
And so you've moved from a couple of different locations. What can you attribute to your growth?
Perseverance. You know, we just decided that this is what we wanted to do, and we just held on to that concept. We were downtown for 10 years, and then the recession set in, and a lot of businesses, a lot of big businesses went out, so it was like the writing on the wall that we'd be going out soon also. But I worked at 2 or 3 different stores, top-end stores, and I worked well as a salesman, so David and I got together one evening and said, man, we need to try this again. Well, lo and behold, we did do it, but we started with low capital. So we had monies for the new clothing and money for the consignment. The consignment really helped us to move toward the new clothing, which is a big venture for us now, you know.
Yeah, well, you mentioned perseverance. What other traits and skills would you say small business owners need to have, or those who might be thinking about starting their own business?
Well, basically, it's passion, because you got to love what you do to be great at it. And we grew up from early childhood in the inner city, Reed Street area, around a lot of churches, a lot of people dressing, and it just was something that we felt real passionate about. It was like the Easter parade every Sunday as far as people in and out of the area we lived in. And so we just realized that in anybody's hope to achieve, they have to be determined.
Right.
And they can't be sidetracked. And so our background and then our desire to be out front and then help our people. That's what it's been about the whole time. And so even now, a young man starting out, he's trying to do a new job. He doesn't have a lot of money. He still needs somebody to give him that direction. He still needs to be able to dress properly to get the part. And we do that every day. And so our basis is to transfer this knowledge to our younger people so that they can in turn shine.
Right. Well, you talk about younger people, and your son David helps run the store as well. So how important is it for you to keep it generational, keep it in the family, but also to keep the history alive?
Well, see, Bobby has a son that's in retail. I have a son that's backing us. We realize that this is something that is going to always be a demand for.
And this is our legacy.
Yeah.
This is our legacy. This is what we're going to leave to our kids and grandkids.
Right. And so this has been a passion for you. It's been your job. You have enjoyed it for more than 40 years. Do you have anything that's on the horizon, anything that you're going to be starting new or different that we need to let our viewers and your potential customers know about?
I think getting the message out, and we appreciate being here with you, just letting people know that we know where we came from, we know where we started, and we know where we want the future to be for our young people. And so getting them on board with, hey, being somebody, acting like somebody, carrying themselves like somebody is going to be real essential for them moving forward. And we realize starting out, people don't have all the money in the world, but they still need to be able to present themselves professionally.
Right. And finally, Mr. Guider, just let everyone know exactly where you're located.
We're located at 201 Columbia Mall Boulevard, Capitol Central Plaza, Suite 177. Okay. And I used to do a commercial for a store that is now closed. It was Mail Sioux City, and our motto was, "We've got it going on." And so our motto for Fashions 2 is Fashions 2, 201 Columbia Mall Boulevard, top of the line fine.
Top of the line fine. I love that.
Thank you, Megan.
Thank you both for being with us this morning.
Appreciate it.
Still to come on Awareness. It's for couples, friends, co-workers, birthday parties, and so much more. Wine and design has become pretty popular. A Columbia franchise owner talks about her success, some struggles, and how they've led to an expansion. Welcome back to Awareness. We continue our focus this morning on entrepreneurship, an increasingly popular business and activity across all age groups, wine and design. Joining me now, Ashley Wilkerson, co-owner of Wine and Design in Columbia, which is in the Richland Mall off Forest Drive. Ashley, thank you for being with us this morning.
Thank you for having me.
Now, you and your husband, Kobe, own Wine and Design.
We do.
And you've been owning it for about 2 years now.
Yes.
And you've had some pretty good success.
It's been awesome.
What do you attribute to that success?
You know, fun. Everyone's enjoying themselves. It's an opportunity for family, friends, co-workers to get together, enjoy relaxation and bonding time. But it's also an opportunity to serve your community. We host fundraising events for local charities and nonprofits. So it's just all around good, wholesome, healthy fun.
And just in case some of our viewers don't know exactly what Wine and Design is all about, just Tell us about it.
Yeah, so it's a fun sip and paint studio. We have 3 rules: sign up, sip up, show up and paint.
I love it. I love the alliteration. So I know that it appeals to really anybody. It's
Yes.
not just one particular group or
It's
demographic.
really not. It's
So
not.
what would you say is the biggest, most popular age group or clientele?
Honestly, we have a lot of 18 to about 60. But we do birthday parties for children. We do bachelorette parties, bridal showers, baby showers. We do, in addition to ladies' night out, men night out. They
Okay.
actually host men night out.
And they come
gentlemen
out
night
and they
out.
like to paint
They
and-
come out
okay.
and they paint. We have some popular paintings for them for their cigars or things of that nature. So it's a lot of fun for the whole family, literally every age group. Seniors love to do it as a form of relaxation and
Sure.
it's healthy for them. So it's just a lot of fun for everyone.
Now-
And you don't have to drink wine too. You can bring any, because it's a BYO studio, bring your own. So you're welcome to bring any food or drink beverage, not just alcoholic beverages.
And so you are located right now in one particular part of Richland Mall, but now
Yes.
you're moving to a new location within the same mall.
Exactly. So when we did this interview about 2 years ago, that was one of the questions. So are you going to stay in Richland Mall? Because the Richland Mall that we know now is not the one that we knew years ago. But now we're going to be right above Barnes & Noble. So we'll be in the heart of the mall where Barnes & Noble, Gymboree, LensCrafter, and
Right.
other, Belk and other named
Right, prime
places.
location.
Yes.
And I think some of the concern has been keeping the retailers in that store.
Correct.
And you are certainly a success story.
Yes, thankfully, Columbia, the viewers of Columbia Metropolitan Magazine just named us 2017 Best Sip and Paint. And so the experience is what's worthwhile there. And I think that now we will have the location, more people will be able to see us, more people will be able to experience the fun.
Well, and you talk about fun for the clients. What about fun for you as an entrepreneur? Because you wouldn't be doing this if you didn't enjoy it. So why did you get started as an entrepreneur?
When I first got started, it was because I participated in a session. I actually participated in 3 sessions. And so when I heard that it was going to close because the owner was relocating to another state, I said, no, it's so much fun. I really enjoyed it. And so my husband and I looked into it and we purchased it to keep it here. And now it's actually one of 71 locations nationwide. And we're quickly approaching that 100 location. Franchise location.
What challenges have you had? I'm sure there has to be some struggles along the way.
So the misconception of only alcohol for non-alcoholic consumers, that was a challenge initially. And then also people want to do it with their families. And so the concern of not being able to bring your children was also a challenge. Once we were able to dispel the myth that alcohol was the only form of beverage you can have in the studio because it's BYO, that made it comfortable for everyone to want to participate, and it made it a family-friendly environment as well. So that became helpful.
Did you have any struggles with raising capital or any other issues that other small business owners might have a challenge with?
Thankfully, we did not have that struggle because it was already a location in place. And so when we acquired it, my husband and I acquired it, it was already existing and we just gave it an uplift and now we're doing another major uplift to take it to the next level.
Yes, excellent. So are there any other ventures for you on the horizon outside of wine and design?
Yes, so well, I'm a local children's author, and this year I'm celebrating 10 years of Tori, which is my character. So it'll be ashleyvandtori.com is the website, and we will be launching new children's books, and so will my husband.
Excellent. Literacy is so very important.
Yes.
Finally, any advice you have for small business owners, those who either are currently in business for themselves or who are considering going into business?
Do not give up. That's the main key. Sometimes it does get challenging, but you have to continue to work, reinvent yourself, and put in the time and the effort to keep your brand going and strong.
Right. Excellent advice. And it's also good if you have a good support system, which I know you have.
I do. I'm thankful.
Ashley, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
When awareness returns, what does it take to become a small business owner? Don't miss out on resources to help you get started or continue to grow your business. That's next. Welcome back to Awareness. Having an idea for a small business is a start, but where do you go from there? And how do you grow and expand? There are plenty of resources to help, from fleshing out your idea to finding capital. Joining me now is Tina Herbert, Director for the City of Columbia's Office of Business Opportunities. Thank you so much for being with us this morning.
Thank you for having me.
I want to start with minority-owned businesses.
Okay.
Is there a need for more minority-owned business owners?
Oh, absolutely. One of the things that we've been studying is looking at the spending power of African Americans. And right now we're at our highest point because we're making more money. So we're looking at spending $1.2 trillion a year. And right now we need more minority-owned businesses so that African Americans can spend their money in their communities.
Right, because that's not happening right now.
It's not happening right now. Right now, only 2% of our dollars are staying in our communities. One of the recent studies says that $1 in the African American community lasts for 6 hours as compared to 30 days in the Asian community.
Really?
So we really have to work on keeping our money in our community, because that goes into our schools,
Right.
it goes into our churches, it helps communities resolve community issues and so forth.
Right. Do you find that there's just not enough knowledge in this community?
It is. What we have to realize is we're a few generations behind. And so many of us didn't grow up with parents who owned businesses or parents who had access to money or certain things. So we're learning this process. And often we have great skills. So we're great musicians, or we're great cooks, or we're great engineers. But do we necessarily know how to run the business?
Right, how to monetize that.
Exactly. Do we know how to hire people? That's a real issue when you start growing, to have to hire your first person. Do you know how to balance your bank account? These are very simple things, but may not be things that you're used to or accustomed to.
Right. Now, can the City of Columbia help with all those things?
Oh, absolutely. We offer various trainings and various classes. So we like to start with folks in the very initial stages. We have a next level class, and that kind of helps you develop your business plan, because you have to have some type of strategy to know where you're going. I mean, it doesn't have to be very complicated. It could be, now they're doing one-pager business plans. But the good thing about it is it just helps you have a plan, and when you're rearing off, you kind of know.
Right.
If you're right on target, you're great. And sometimes you realize, guess what? This plan doesn't work. This model
Right.
doesn't work.
And it may not.
Scratch it. Yeah,
Yep.
and that's not necessarily failure. I just tell people, make the adjustments.
Right.
Figure out what does work and keep going.
Right, reroute yourself.
Right.
Well, let's give people some tips for if they want to start a business.
If you want to start, first thing, have capital or access to capital. That's one of the biggest barriers that we have as African Americans. And capital is cash. Sometimes I have to make sure I'm clear. Capital is cash, and you have to have access to cash. So in a great world, you have a great savings, or you have a retirement fund. If you don't, then you need to have access to capital, which means the ability to take out a loan or get a line of credit or get a line of equity or take a loan out against your 401k. But having access to cash is very critical, and you do need to plan that out.
And what are some pitfalls that people should try to avoid?
I know a lot of people, I think, they jump out too quickly. And so a lot of times we start businesses part-time, and then one day we're like, we got the best idea in the world, and I'm quitting my job with benefits to do this full-time, and 4 months in, you're looking around like, oh my goodness. So I try and tell people, for as long as possible, if you have a day job, keep the day job. Many people really do see the advantages and the cost of healthcare insurance, just that one thing.
Yes. Keeping
a job and having that available for your family and working your side business can be valuable. So making sure you have that prepared. And in contracts, don't rush into anything. A lot of people get really excited because they see this is the best location and I have to do it here, or this is the best product and we have to catch it now. No, not necessarily. Make sure that you do your due diligence, you do your research, you talk to people before you enter into contracts, because you're bound by them and they're
Right.
going to cost you money.
Right.
So you want to do all your research.
And does the City of Columbia also offer resources for knowing how to negotiate contracts and other issues that may come up?
Yes, we can. One of the things, we actually have one specifically for leases, because what we found is a lot of folks would enter into leases with these great ideas and they'd realize either the building was not up to code, or you couldn't even do what you wanted to do in that building. So we have a whole class for that, as well as figuring out the regulatory requirements ahead of time. So those are great resources. We do them all throughout the year, and we put them on our calendar on our website.
And of course, we have some viewers who do not live in the city of Columbia.
Right.
So if they live somewhere else in the Midlands, can you still help them?
Oh, absolutely. So my goal is to help businesses that want to do business with the city as well as in the city of Columbia. Mayor Benjamin is very serious about creating a very entrepreneurial environment. So we support not only those in the corporate city limits, but throughout the Midlands. And, you know, I work with some people out of Sumter and different places throughout the state.
Right.
But it all works to this regional effort of creating a great atmosphere for entrepreneurs here in the city.
And finally, how would you encourage someone who might be sitting at home thinking, I've always thought about starting a business, I just don't know how to get started, or I'm kind of apprehensive?
Just read and research. I think the day of Google, this is a whole different world that we're in now. Do some research. Take it slowly. I always say just continue to make a step forward every month. Don't totally forget it, but every month say, you know, I think I'm gonna get a book on restaurant ownership so I can kind of figure out if this is for me. So I think it's consistent progress. Don't worry about not being where you thought you should be by now or
Right.
making the money
Right.
that you should be making, but just making a little bit of progress every periodically, whether it's a
Right.
month or every quarter. And you'll look up one day and you're gonna be like, oh my God, I'm here where I've been
Right.
thinking about being for a long time.
Right. Small, consistent benchmarks.
Yes.
Tina, thank you so much.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Stay with us. We'll be right back with a final thought. We all have potential to do great things. Sometimes it's just a matter of knowing what's out there and what you can pursue. If you want to start your own business, or maybe you never really gave it any thought until now, check out all the resources and possibilities available to you. It starts with a dream, but you need to have determination and drive to push that dream and pick yourself up through the challenges and setbacks. Strength over struggle equals success. I'd like to thank all of our guests this morning. Until next time, I'm Megan Norman. This is Awareness.